Graduands, guests, colleagues, I declare the ceremony open. Please be seated. As Pro Vice-Chancellor International, it is my great pleasure to welcome you all to this graduation ceremony for the students from Nottingham Law School and Confetti Institute of Creative Technologies. I would also like to welcome family and friends watching from around the world. You're all very welcome. Welcome also to our Honorary Graduand, Champa Patel. It is a pleasure and a privilege to have you here with us, and we look forward to hearing your thoughts a little later in the ceremony. Graduands, I want to begin by congratulating you on your achievements. Well done and welcome back to NTU. Graduation is the pinnacle of the academic year, for us as much as for you. It is a day when we come together to reflect on your academic accomplishments and the incredible things that you have achieved. Until recently, the COVID-19 pandemic has denied us that opportunity, but we have always been committed to celebrating your success in person, and I'm delighted to see so many of you back here today. You're indeed very welcome. As the class of 2021, you faced major challenges in the final 15 months of your studies here at NTU. You came through those challenges showing resilience, resourcefulness, and adaptability. The pandemic has reiterated the reach and relevance of the NTU community, a community you will always be part of. It has re-emphasized the importance of connection and collaboration, of inclusion and innovation. Today is a reunion, as well as a recognition of your graduation. So take the chance to renew friendships and acquaintances, and because the stronger your network is, the stronger your future will be. I also want to recognize the doctoral students who will be coming across the stage today. A PhD is the highest level of academic study, which is why, after you've received your degrees, you will join our colleagues here on these benches. In completing your doctorate with us, you have made a significant contribution to the university's research culture, and we thank you for this. However, no one completes the academic journey alone. So I invite you now to remember those who've supported you along the way. Your families, your friends, your course mates, colleagues in professional services, and academic tutors. So please, would you join me in thanking them with a round of applause? These ceremonies also give us the opportunity to reflect on the university's world-leading research, as exemplified by the award last week of the Queen's Anniversary Prize for our world-leading research in cultural heritage science, the highest award any university can achieve. They also reflect our commitment to ensuring our graduates are equipped for the world of work and our ever-expanding network of international partnerships. Considering the challenges we have all faced since March 2020, I feel we must recognize today the culture and the ethos that underpins the university's many successes. It is from this ethos that we all have drawn the strength and maturity to prevail. The pandemic has reminded us of the importance of collaboration and the need to tackle challenges by working together. Innovation, inclusion, and expertise. These ideals are all ingrained in the university's DNA, and they have served us well in unprecedented times. Every title and every award is an endorsement of these beliefs, methods, and goals. But it's the day-to-day successes we see in our classrooms, across our campuses and communities, that prove NTU's ability to deliver on its ambitions. Nottingham Law School exemplifies those ambitions for its students and the communities that it serves. It is a school that builds courage, confidence, and leadership by combining theoretical rigor with the applied, hands-on opportunities to practice law. The school is distinguished by superb teaching, dedicated facilities, and an expert team of academics drawn from every avenue of legal practice. The school's mission is civic, not just academic. It believes in equal access to justice, a principle which is embodied in our Legal Advice Centre, a multi-award winning on-site teaching law firm which encourages students to support their local communities by providing legal advice and guidance. To date, the centre has recovered $5.5 million in compensation for its clients. I've been, since I came, I've joined the board as director of the Legal Advice Centre. I'm not a lawyer, I have nothing to do with that in my background. And it's been a real pleasure for me to be part of that and to see all the wonderful awards that it has received over the last few years. They've got 2 more, which I want to mention now. The Centre received the Best Contribution by a Law School Prize at the Law Works and Attorney General Pro Bono Awards in 2021, and the Alternative Business Structure of the Year at the 2020 Modern Law Awards. Both the school and the centre reflect the obligations of a modern university to enrich society, to create opportunities, and to share knowledge and skills beyond our walls. As a centre of excellence dedicated to performance and production, the learning culture of the Confetti Institute of Creative Technologies reflects the pace and dynamism of the creative industries, a collaborative and fast-moving environment where people from different worlds come together to achieve shared goals. From its earliest days, the Institute has maintained a single, simple philosophy that in order to learn about the industry, students need to be part of it. Working alongside partners like Athena, Knots TV, Spool Films, and Metronome, Confetti gives students the opportunity to apply their skills in real-world environments, with hands-on projects and placements, industry-standard facilities, and the insights of prestigious guest speakers from the world of film, music, and video game production. The Institute continues to shine within the sector. Confetti's motto is, "Do it for real," and it fulfills this principle through every aspect of its teaching and learning culture, as well as the doors to industries it continues to open for students. In these regards and many more, both Nottingham Law School and the Confetti Institute of Creative Technologies reflects the duties of a modern university to create opportunities, to connect globally, to interrogate ideas, and to enrich and empower their communities. So class of 2021, it's a pleasure today to have you back on campus. I hope you enjoyed today's ceremony. And now I invite the Director of Education, Darren Byrne, to read the names of today's graduands and the Deputy Vice-Chancellor to confer your degrees.
I now invite the stewards to bring forward the first group of graduands. Deputy Vice-Chancellor. The following have qualified for awards from the Confetti Institute of Creative Technologies. Master of Arts degree in Commercial Songwriting and Production, Emily Buckin. McGennick Graham. Owen Pixton. Constance Richards. Ray Miho. Alexander Fitri Vermeulen. Samuel Warrington. Master of Science degree in Creative Technologies, Lee Carter. Taylor Dickinson. Connor Judge. Nathan McCubbin. Dean Philip Kirkman. Deputy Vice-Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of awards to the graduates from the Confetti Institute of Creative Technologies. Deputy Vice-Chancellor, the following have qualified for awards from Nottingham Law School. Doctor of Legal Practice degree, Brona Heverin, whose research is on development of the transferable skill set of Irish undergraduate law students through simulated client interviews. Carol Vaughan, whose research is on will medical examiners enhance death certification and investigation. Bethan Poyser, whose research is on threatened pasts, police officers, heritage practitioners, and victims of heritage crime. Emma Ireton, whose research is on an analysis of legal and political influence on the form and nature of post-2005 public inquiries and their significance. Master of Laws degree in Legal Practice course, Abigail Clark. Master of Laws degree in Bar Professional Training course, Sharon Abbott. Alex Butler. Tabitha Daniels. Dominic Devlin. Rihanna Faisal. Gemma Grant. Annabelle Lenton. Amelia White. Postgraduate Diploma in Bar Professional Training course, Saeed Abrar Ishtiaq Ali. Lauren Bicknell. Connor Jones. The next student also receives the Taylor Prize for the top performing student and the Richard Bagley Prize for outstanding achievement in pro bono activity. Jack Stewart. Master of Laws degree in Barrister's Training course, Amrita Mawaha. Deputy Vice-Chancellor. That concludes the presentation of awards to the first group of graduates from the Nottingham Law School. Connor Judge, who earlier received a Master of Science degree in Creative Technologies, will now propose a student vote of thanks.
Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Pro-Vice-Chancellor, Director of Education, distinguished guests, family and friends, and fellow graduates. On behalf of the student body, it is an honour to be standing here today to deliver this vote of thanks. Today marks a memory of celebration, reflecting on the great achievement of this year. What can I say, what a year it's been. I'd like to start by giving this outstanding thank you to all the staff on our courses, and our support teams, our tutors, and even those behind-the-scenes technicians, for their exceptional motivation and ongoing support and care for the students. I'd also like to thank our families, who include our supportive parents and carers, our inspirational grandparents, and loving, but maybe sometimes annoying siblings. Sharing their love and support when we needed it most, as we tackled a year like no other, providing us with the drive and motivation to succeed through our courses. And to our fellow graduates and our friends, who have kept us sane through these strange times, from having a local catch-up at the SU, maybe a pint or two, and having a late night into the morning in the Boots Library, creating quizzes and games for our Teams and Discord channels when we couldn't meet face-to-face. But I know you guys were all comfy in your PJs and your lectures. Like others, we were warned of how unpredictable and different this year would be, informed of limited resources, face-to-face sessions, and mainly our low level of social interactions. It required a large quantity of independent learning. To everyone in this room today, it's safe to agree that we all approached a different obstacle. For myself, it was hardware failure on a heavily reliant practical project. For others, it could be the same, with limited resources. But for most, it was the social interactions between family, friends, and peers. As we followed the strict restrictions of the pandemic, everyone in this room, a huge congratulations is in order for taking that leap of faith from day one and saying yes to starting this course, for standing your ground and pushing through to the very end. No one could have ever predicted how this year could turn around, but I feel proud to be here with so many of my fellow graduates who have pushed themselves to reach their goals despite the obstacles ahead. And I feel honoured to be standing here and be part of this student community, and thank NTU for providing us with an experience like no other, especially in a year like this. The future is always uncertain, but we today celebrate what we have done and all of our achievements. We are certain of one thing on this day: you will not let us down. To close on this speech, remember this: take every opportunity where you can, and it is you that got yourself here today. You who are wearing the caps and gowns today on this fine afternoon and have achieved this moment through what was a very different year. Everyone in this room should be proud, and for those that are unsure of their next steps, do not worry. Remember, it is you that can make the impossible possible and accomplish your goals and aspirations. You that earned those grey hairs through the late nights behind that laptop screen. You can achieve anything. All that matters is how badly you want it. And remember, the only way to do great work is to love what you do. Graduation isn't the end, it's the beginning. And I wish everyone good luck in their next steps, and thank you for making my time an unforgettable experience. Thank you.
Deputy Vice-Chancellor, guests, it is my pleasure and my privilege to invite Dr. Champa Patel to come forward to receive an honorary doctorate at this morning's graduation ceremony. So let me tell you a little bit about her. This award recognises a Nottingham Trent University alumna who has earned international distinction in activities associated with human rights, social justice and welfare, and public education. You may well have read many of the exposés, the articles that Champa has published in newspapers, from the UK's The Independent to the Bangladesh's Daily Star. Or you may have read her on social media platforms, digital platforms, where she's writing about ensuring justice for the Rohingya, accountability for victims of extrajudicial executions in the Philippines. Or she's writing about human rights groups that she supports, like Women Now for Development in Syria and neighbouring countries. In the 1990s, Champa Patel was a student of English at Nottingham Trent University. She was inspired by colonial and post-colonial studies and wrote her dissertation on the latter. For her master's studies with me, she focused on race and rights and African American activism. And then for her PhD, which I had the pleasure to supervise, she examined Pan-Africanism and anti-imperialism. The figures who fascinated Champa then were African American diplomat Ralph Bunche, Malcolm X, and Muhammad Ali, and the differing versions of internationalism they each espoused. Champa began writing book reviews whilst she was still a PhD student, and since 2013, Champa has been an editorial board member of the journal Human Rights Quarterly. It was while studying for her PhD that Champa began volunteering with Nottingham Primary Care Trust. She was working on HIV/AIDS support for Black and minority ethnic communities. She was prompted by a close family member's experience of navigating the illness and a desire to help others in similar situations. On completion of her PhD in 2004, Champa became an outreach projects manager for Nottingham Primary Care Trust. She was working with and for vulnerable young people, including refugees and asylum seekers. In 2006, she moved to be a health promotion specialist, and she continued to work with refugees and asylum seekers, but also other vulnerable groups, including trafficked individuals, sex workers, and anyone experiencing or at risk of experiencing sexual abuse and exploitation. In 2009, Champa left Nottingham and she began working for Amnesty International UK as head of casework and activism. She delivered work on human rights defenders, human rights education, and individuals at risk, before she moved to Amnesty International as Director of Campaigns. There she focused on torture, violence against women, and refugee crises. When Champa then became the Regional Director for Amnesty International, she took responsibility for South Asia and Southeast Asia. She worked closely with civil society organisations. She oversaw Amnesty's research, campaigning, and advocacy, producing flagship reports on the challenges faced by internally displaced people in Afghanistan, for example, the Rohingya crisis that saw mass displacement of people into neighbouring Bangladesh. In 2015, Champa moved to the Royal Institute for International Affairs, known to most of us as Chatham House. There, her focus was the Asia-Pacific region. She was responsible for policy and research in attempting to ensure a more just, secure, and fair world, as she always has. In the last few weeks, Champa began a new post, a new role as Director of International Crisis Group. She is focused on the Future of Conflict programme. She's working on how climate change impacts conflict dynamics and conflict economies. And she is challenging disinformation campaigns against minority groups. Champa has always been an advocate for groups and individuals seeking social justice against difficult, often seemingly unsurmountable odds. Champa has made a material difference to so many lives since completing her degrees here. I followed her career and can tell you that she never promotes herself, only the causes that she supports, and that she's proactive not only in the formal roles I've described, but also less noticeably on charity boards, trusts, committees, and in grassroots organisations. And I would add that the friends that she's brought here today as her family are people that she's worked with for the last 20 years in those capacities. So, Champa continues to study too, and it may interest you that she's currently undertaking an LLM in public international law. Champa will be an active contributor to our work at Nottingham Trent University, not only through the activist research that underpins our Post-Colonial Studies Centre, but in all our work with and for our students. Champa is inspirational for where a degree in English and the humanities more broadly can take you from our university. And by graduating in law with LLMs, postgraduate diplomas, and PhDs, you all have a head start already to make a difference. Deputy Vice-Chancellor, it gives me great pleasure to present to you Dr. Champa Patel, being a person distinguished in eminence and by attainments for the conferment of the degree of Doctor of Arts, honoris causa, in recognition of significant, sustained contribution to social justice through her human rights activism and to public health care and public education as a campaigner, policymaker, researcher, and advocate for vulnerable groups locally, nationally, and internationally. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I feel incredibly moved, so please bear with me while I try and get through my notes, and thank you, it means a great deal. I appreciate that I'm in that kind of spot in proceedings where everybody's anxious to get to their loved ones and congratulate them, and I'm standing between family and friends and lunch and whatnot. But I just want to say a few words. Firstly, I'd like to thank Sharon, who did the little speech just now. From the day we crossed paths, she's always been a champion for me. Most importantly, she knew how important it was for me to be able to combine my studies with community work, and she's always been incredibly supportive in that endeavor. So I just want to thank you for all of the advice and the guidance through the years. I'm so enormously grateful for everything that you've done for me. And my congratulations to you all. Well done on completing your studies and graduating. I was so interested to hear about all the work that the law program has been doing here. It can't have been easy studying during this disruptive period. So my congratulations to you all. I'm so looking forward and energized to see what you will go on to do next. Just hearing the topics was really interesting to see what some of you have been focusing on. And I still remember my Nottingham Trent graduation back in the dark ages, and by this I mean 1998. It's not very far from this building that I graduated, and I still recall the excitement of finishing my studies and not knowing quite what was going to come next, but being excited by that. You know, I was the first in my family to go to university, and my time here really was transformative. It's crazy, like I think back to my first year in uni, and we were handwriting essays. If you can imagine that, handwriting your essays, having to do footnotes by hand, because people weren't submitting word-processed essays back then. I remember in my second year of university going on the internet for the first time. So it's crazy to think just how much has changed in the last 22 years. But I thoroughly enjoyed my time here. It was a really transformative experience. So my thanks also to the Deputy Vice-Chancellor and Nottingham Trent University for this honour. It means a great deal to me. I never thought a working class kid from Wales could end up somewhere like this. So thank you very much. I just want to take a moment, because it's not often in life you get to thank people who mean a great deal to you. But I just want to thank 3 incredible women who've joined me here today. They're going to hate this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Each has played an enormous part in any successes I can claim. Vanessa, you gave me my first job in public health. It was such hard work, but through you, I learned how to approach it all with humor, grace, and calm. I can't thank you enough. You're the family I created for myself. Maxine, I told you you'd stop bawling. I said she was gonna cry, and now she got me going. Maxine, you're the warrior queen and mother protector who inspires me constantly. You are the absolute model of what it means to never forget where you come from, stay humble, and always give back. And Anna, from our earliest days of doing community projects using film and photography, working with refugees and asylum seekers, you've always been there with a lot of dark humor, many inappropriate jokes, but always been there and always been my rock and support. And my advice to you all, if I have anything to give, is surround yourself with good people who champion you, who are there through the ups and downs, but they also give you the reality checks when they're needed. And I am lucky to have had the best of them. So I'd like to honor the women who are here with me today, because anything I am is because of them as well. And finally, more than anything, I really feel this honor is more testament to all the grassroots activists, community leaders, civil society organizations. They're the ones who do the really difficult work. And I think this pandemic has helped us to realize the importance of them more than ever. I hope we never lose sight of those who fight hard each and every day, try and ensure we are all treated equally, free from discrimination and able to enjoy our rights. I'm just fortunate that I got to be a fellow traveler. So thank you for this honor. My congratulations to you all. Go forth, kick ass, be kind, enjoy.
Congratulations, Shampa. Deputy Vice-Chancellor. The following have also qualified for awards from Nottingham Law School. Professional Certificate in Trademark Practice, Kerry Ann Hazard. Charlotte Lavery. Stephanie Njoku. Phil Wright. Graduate Diploma in Law, Leah Az. Jessica Ewerby. Christopher Grabowski. Jessica Letchworth. Michael Ojopa. Mahala Roberts. Lee Walker. Zara Bagat. Miriam Berlin. Adam Boston. Molly Broster. Jax P. Chow. Gloria Cremente. Sylvia Fiore. Farzani Sadat Kamkari. Paige Gillett. Wendy Afra Gayaben. Kazi Hussain. Emma Hodgkin. Bridget Jackson. Emma Lickard. Adam McWilliams. Imogen Radford. Bashita Sheila Siundum. Amelia Strath. Ailish Ward. Helen Godfrey. Master of Laws degree in Legal Practice course, Mohammed Hassan. Jay Addison. Sorry, Jay. Slight technical hitch there, apologies, Jay. But you do get twice on the stage, so. James Akelia. Luke Pritchett. Eloho Eteriri. Mirella Caneva. Mohammed Hassan. Abigail Kay. Deputy Vice-Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of awards from Nottingham Law School and concludes the presentation of awards to graduates at this ceremony. In absentia, Deputy Vice-Chancellor, I invite you to confer degrees on those graduands who have not been presented to you in person, but who have indicated they wish their awards to be conferred in their absence. I certify that these graduands are worthy of their degrees and I stand as proxy. Molly Broster, who earlier received a graduate diploma in law, will now propose the second student vote of thanks.
Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Pro-Vice-Chancellor, Executive Dean, distinguished guests, family, friends and fellow graduates. On behalf of the student body, I'd like to begin by thanking the exceptional teaching staff who have provided us with the knowledge today that we hold today and have contributed to our time at Nottingham Trent. I would also like to offer our thanks to the rest of the staff at the law school and university who have worked tirelessly and have made our time here possible. I think we can all agree that last year had to be one of the most challenging times to go through university, and it's because of NTU's support and effort that we're all graduating today. Online teaching did not come without its challenges, and a special thanks has to go to our tutors for their patience when faced with a blank screen. This, of course, being down to our common lack of enthusiasm when faced to turn on our cameras. I don't think we appreciated quite how painful this must have been, and we're all incredibly grateful for the tremendous effort that went into facilitating our remote learning. Despite the isolating circumstances we faced, we still managed to form a sense of community. Given that many of us had never met before or had the chance to get to know each other in the normal university way, we've still managed to create a support network. I can remember thinking that I was the only one struggling when I started the GDL. However, I was quickly reassured through WhatsApp groups and weekly coffee meetings that I was not the only one feeling as if I was drowning in work. Although it's fair to say I'm grateful that nights out are no longer being substituted by daily exercise and study dates. Although being stuck in our bedrooms for the majority of last year, I'd like to thank the Legal Advice Centre for bringing our studies to life. Being given the opportunity and responsibility to deal with real-life cases kept all of the studying in perspective. Their support and reassurance is what has enabled me to speak here today, and I want to thank them for not quite putting me off the career that I hope to end up in. Last but not least, on behalf of everyone here, I would like to give a huge thanks to our family and friends for all their encouragement and for getting us through this past year. I'm sure that we can all agree that without them, this whole process would have been a lot harder. I wish everyone the best of luck in the future, and finally, congratulations. Thank you.
Hello everybody. So I really am the one thing that's standing between you and lunch and celebrations. So I'm here to wrap up the ceremony and I will keep it brief. But first of all, let me start with our fantastic graduates and how lovely it is to see so many of you here today. And it's a real privilege to be greeting you here on the stage because for a start, you've got your face coverings off. I can see your faces properly. Most of you looked really happy. A few of you looked a little bit anxious. Nobody tripped up, so well done. But you all looked really proud, and justifiably so. What a tremendous achievement in such difficult circumstances. And thanks to both Connor and Molly for referencing just how well you've done and how you bonded together to get each other through your studies over the past months. Today's very much about celebration, but I don't think any of us could have avoided feeling humbled by what we heard about Champa, our honorary graduate here today. And for once, it was good to see the front row in floods of tears, I have to say. There were lovely words, and from you as well, Champa, back to the audience. Thank you for the speech that you gave. Your work is inspiring, and I'm sure will resonate with many of us here for well beyond this ceremony. And I hope you enjoy a marvellous day after this as well, and no more tears. So it's not long to go now. I'm going to just say a few formal words, and then we'll move to graduating out of the hall. So first of all, I want to really thank personally many of my colleagues. Our student reps have thanked them as well. But what a year it's been for all of you, and for those of you who are watching live on stream. We couldn't have imagined this time a year ago how difficult this year was going to be, even though we were several months into the pandemic by then. And we had to be agile, we had to be thoughtful, we had to be creative all the way through. And I'm really pleased that you've acknowledged all of our colleagues, over 4,000 of them in the university, that worked so hard in so many different ways to deliver that for us. But you students, you're the beating heart of our university, and your contributions go well beyond what you do in the classrooms, whether that's online, in Teams calls, or in person. And as we've heard, you've supported each other academically and personally, and often over long distances. But you also undertake projects that make organisations more effective. We've heard, for example, today of the work of the Law Advisory Centre. You make the Global Lounge the vibrant place that it is to be around the world, and some of you will have drawn on that during your studies here. But we also know that you've missed some typical university experiences throughout the COVID pandemic, and we've heard reference to that as well. As I said, we did what we could to optimise the amount of in-person teaching, but also to ensure the quality of what we offered online was as best as it possibly could be. But thank you for your patience and resilience in those extraordinary circumstances. However, that's one reason why we were so keen to do these ceremonies here in person today, and I hope you've enjoyed that. It's a lovely environment, nice and intimate, and that you can really feel the vibe, I think, from the celebrations that we've got here this afternoon. I say this is the next stage in your engagement with NTU because although you've graduated, you remain members of our global NTU family. And that's a worldwide community of over 220,000 alumni. So our doors will always be open to you, and you can continue to access support from us. And that includes advice for the next steps of your career from the employability team. And you can find out much more about all of that through the university's alumni website. And in time, we hope that you too will consider helping future generations of students, just as some alumni have helped you during your studies, maybe through offering lectures or careers advice. And when the time comes, when that email drops into your inbox, can we encourage you to complete the Graduate Outcomes Survey? That will let us know what you're doing. We'd love to hear about that, but it also helps leave an important legacy for the students of tomorrow. But that's for the future. Now is the time to enjoy your success. You've got plenty of time to do that now. And in a moment, I'll be inviting you to join us for celebratory refreshments in the Newton building. But I think before you get ready to go, I think it's time for one more big round of applause, and well done, everybody. So guests, if I can ask you to remain seated for the processional music and as the academic party and graduates leave the hall. And then finally, I declare this graduation ceremony closed. Thank you.
hard to do.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because what happens is